Tim, could you please unmute everyone except for me?
I unmuted everybody.
Okay. We had 16 registrations, so let's give it one more minute, letting everyone join this call. So please bear with us for one more minute.
Lots of feedback from somebody.
Then at this point, we want everyone muted except for you and me.
Cletus?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tim.
Okay.
Great.
I'm getting started now.
Okay, great.
Sure. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. This is Carlisle, the current Club Growth Director for District 4. Welcome to the first webinar of the year from the Club Growth team. Today's session is going to be in two parts. It's a 1-hour session, as you know. It runs from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The first half covers Club Consultant Program, a newly introduced program which is still in its rollout stage. And the second half covers the Club Coach Program. To present these very important Club Growth programs, we have two well-known faces. The first presenter needs no special introduction. Distinguished Toastmaster Katherine Pratt has been in Toastmasters for the last 15 years and has been part of 3 different districts over the years. Currently, she is a member and an officer of 3 different clubs, 2 of them in District 101. She was a club coach, which she completed in 2012. Later, she became the club coach director and got involved in district leadership and was the last district director to serve the district when the district spanned from Bay to Bay, which is San Francisco Bay to all the way to Monterey Bay. One of her favorite things about Toastmasters is that there is always someone ready and willing to help and support you and mentor you if you just ask. As I said earlier, Kat will be presenting the Club Consultant Program, a newly introduced program which is still in its rollout stage. The second presenter today is Tim Carlisle, a well-known figure in the Toastmaster circle in District 4. Distinguished Toastmaster Tim Carlisle has been in the thick of action through the last 3 years that he has been in Toastmasters. This year, he is also the Division E Director, apart from the other things he's doing. But before doing this, last year he actually had a very busy year. I'll explain why. He was part of 3 different clubs in 3 multiple roles. Along with it, he was also the Area E5 Director. He was the Logistics Manager at the district level. And when Pathways was introduced, and it was new for all of us, he stepped in as a Pathways guide. To appreciate and acknowledge his hard work and dedication towards Toastmasters, he was presented the 2017-18 Breakthrough Member of the Year Award for District 4. Currently, he is a mentor for Ladders Not Toastmasters Club in San Francisco and a club coach for 2 different clubs, Pacific Rim and San Francisco Downtown. So he knows what he's going to talk about. Now, before we get started with this program, some information about the structure of this webinar. I'm sure as Kat and Tim present their part of the webinar, you'll have questions for them. Please hold on to it or type it in the chat window. Every presentation is going to be about 15 to 20 minutes, and towards the end of it, there will be a question-answer session during which you can present your questions, and Kat and Tim will be more than happy to answer those. Over to you, Kat.
Hello, everyone. If you are able to hear me, can you please put something quickly in the chat so that we know that you're there? And then also, I know most of you are a lot of you are on phones. Yay, okay. Most of you are on phones. In the event that you do have a question on the phone, do we have the capability of answering those?
I'm not 100% certain, but
okay.
We will sort it out.
We will sort that out. All right, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and start our, hi, everybody. I can see your thumbs up. Wonderful. I'm so glad we can be heard. Well, as Carlisle mentioned, we're here to talk about a new district program that is starting, and I'm advancing my slide. Can you give me a technical here? One moment here. So our screen is being shared. There we go. This one right here. Okay. It's the Club Consultant Program. It's something that has been in the minds of getting started for multiple years now, and I'm really looking forward to trying to kick this off this year. It's a program that's going to be helping clubs and helping other people grow as well. My part of the agenda, I'll go over quickly. First of all, it's just kind of the whys and hows of club consulting. I also have a little bit of ABCs of a consulting relationship. We'll have district expectations of what the program will entail, and definitely some questions and next steps during this time period with me. Keep on with your questions, and we'll make sure to make sure that we can get those answered as well. So let's get started. Oh, I need to close that. Sorry, new software for me. One moment. How did you do that? Okay. First of all, of course, there's a big reason about why would we want to have a club consultant, or why would we want to become a club consultant? Okay. Which the one? What are you pressing?
Spacebar.
Spacebar? Oh, spacebar. Okay. Well, I took a little bit of the statistics in our district. Right now, we have about 28% of our district, about close to a third, where 39 clubs in our district right now that have between 13 and 19 members. In a couple of weeks, when dues renewal happens, that number will probably jump up quite a lot. And we know that strong and healthy clubs have a healthy membership number. There's always been help for clubs that are brand new. There's always been help for clubs that need that have between 12 and fewer members. But those clubs that fit within the 13 to 19 range, there's never really been a program to help assist clubs and to help just something different. And so that's why we're starting the Club Consultant Program, where it will help offer some assistance to clubs that would like it, that are in the 13 to 19 membership range. So what is a club consultant? It's meant to be a short-term program where you would be working with a club for about 2 to 3 months. You're focusing really on one key area. So after doing a little work with the club, deciding what they really want to focus on, honing in on that one key area that's going to help kick up membership or kick up something that they're very interested in pursuing in a club. You'll be working together with the club and, of course, with its officers. And that's really key because what a consultant in work does, they don't come in and do all the work for you. They will do a little bit of training, import, and then the people who work at that place are supposed to carry it forward. Well, the same idea is with a club consultant. Consultant would come in. They would work along with the officers of what they really want to help. They would add a little bit of their expertise, but really work the plan with the club so that the members themselves are working towards becoming, towards carrying out the plan. Mainly so it becomes mainly because that way it's going to help it be sustainable. And there's the thing with a club consultant, it's a goal-oriented outcome. By the end of 3 months, we will have this in place. A little bit of examples between a mentor, coaching, and then how that's different with a consultant. Mentors, as I said, that works with new clubs. They establish best practices for future success. Coaching works with existing clubs with 12 or fewer members, and of course you're going to hear more about that later from my esteemed colleague. And then the club consultant works with existing clubs, 13 to 19 members. What they really do is they establish along with the club what is that area of focus that's going to best serve that club, kind of kick it up a notch. And then you create with the whole club an action plan for your project. Basically what you are doing is adding the support needed so that the club is able to take the next steps to complete their plan. And most importantly that I should mention, mentoring and coaching is a Toastmasters-wide program. Club consulting is District 4. So someone has already asked me if club consulting will help get you ALS, Advanced Leader Silver credit. Nope, unfortunately this is not an entire Toastmaster, worldwide Toastmaster program. It's District 4, but I'll go into some of the ideas of why you would want to become a club consultant. First of all, you're really going to help increase your team building skills. So when a consultant comes in, you're working together with other people, and if that's something that you need to do at work, it's skills that you can build here in Toastmasters to help make it even stronger. Problem-solving skills, same thing, and a lot of people look for those buzzwords of what would be something that I can improve on. If I want to improve on facilitation, club consulting is a really good program to check out. You get to share your expertise on something that's worked either really, really well in your club or worked well for you, something with a club that may need some help. Some examples of expertise could be a mentorship program. You could help establish best practices for PR for a club. You might want to work on just meeting scheduling. Maybe a club decides that, hey, we really want to make our meetings more vibrant and exciting and with people actually filling out the rules. That way, a club consultant could come and work with you on different scheduling procedures. There's lots of different expertise. Membership building, of course, is a popular one, and how do we improve our membership? People who have worked on making successful open houses could share their expertise in that realm. It gives you a lot of chance to mentor others. Pathways is very strong in mentoring, and this is going to give you some chance for that as well. You are going to be strengthening, well, it's possible you might be strengthening your conflict resolution skills, but you never know. And then this is the one thing, where would I get ALS credit, Advanced Leader Silver credit? what you could use this program for is to help you with your high performance leadership, even a competent leader program if you wanted to create like a membership drive or something. And there's a bunch of different programs in projects and pathways that will help you with that credit as well. So what would a consultant do? First, so I've kind of put together the ABCs of consulting with a club. First of all, a consultant, if you're interested in being a club that wants a consultant, or if you are interested in being a consultant, what would happen is that somebody would come and visit the club, the interested person. You would use one of our diagnostics, so to say. It would be similar to the Moments of Truth, if you're familiar with that. It is a club success program through Toastmasters. It looks at different things like membership strength and recognition, lots of different ideas, and a little like just to see what might be the area that could help that your club or could help the club that you're looking at. The important thing about visiting the club at first is just to get a feel for the club, the members, and the culture of what that club is like. If you go to clubs throughout District 4, you're going to see a completely different culture in many, many different clubs. So the most important thing is that whenever there's a mentor relationship, or in this case a consulting relationship, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to work with the group that you're with, and the club is going to need to know that they can work with the consultant themselves. So assessing the situation would be the first step. The second is really to see the base reason for what is it that could, I wrote base reason for the struggle, but more it's what is the one thing, what is the base reason that may be keeping somebody from, maybe keeping the club from increasing their membership? Is it that no one knows where you are? Or is it that you need more powerful evaluations? Using whatever information that you've gathered and help, keep asking the officers especially, why do you think, what do you think can be done, and creating their action plan there. The most important thing, though, is to get commitment from the club and making sure that the members are making the game plan along with you. It's really easy sometimes to go in and want to do all the work and then walk away and then nothing changes. When the club buys into something, it's going to make changes are going to be more likely to occur. This happens with any type of relationship. The members are doing the work. The consultant is really there to support the provide support materials, tools, their expertise, maybe bringing in other people to help build whatever the project is. So if it's a membership building drive that you might be running, or if it's an open house, what they could do, they would be giving guidelines for the group to decide how they want to run their own open house or membership drive. Mainly the goal of club consulting is to work with the members to build your membership or to improve your club experience. Again, can't say it enough, working with the club members on a predetermined goal is the most important key. And then providing the support that you need to carry out the plan. And this is meant to be literally a 2 to 3 month project. It is not meant to, be, coaching could last longer. This is meant to be go in, give a small bit of coaching on one area or consulting in one area, carry out the plan, and then assessing afterwards how it helped. So at this point, we have something in the chat, and then we'll have some time for questions. Someone mentioned something about the High Performance Leader Project. The HPL, high performance leader is definitely something that a lot of people are working on right now, with the legacy program ending in about a year and a half or so. The high performance leader project is something where you're working with a team. This is a perfect idea for a high performance leader project because you're leading a team of people to have a common goal. In Pathways, in the DTM project, this is also something that can work too. Wendy has a question. Do clubs request consultants or are they assigned consultants? Well, first of all, the club has to request it. The club has to be interested in wanting to work with somebody. This isn't going to be a program where where someone says, oh, you have 13 members, you are assigned this person. For one reason, we don't have a huge backlog of people, volunteers yet, but we're working towards that. And second of all, if a club is happy with what they're doing, we would never want to go in and assign somebody to them. On that vein, in that same vein though, if you know of clubs that could be interested, because this is a new program, we're really trying to get the word out about it to say, because people wouldn't even know to ask for it if they didn't know it existed. I will get there, Cletus. Don't worry about it. I know that he said we've got a couple slides coming forward, so don't worry. Are there other questions about consulting? Okay. Well, if you do have them, please continue to type them in the chat. Oops, we have to cut that out. Yep. Okay. Nope. All right. So really the question is what comes next? First of all, if a club was interested, there would be a club introduction. Let's say Tim here was interested in becoming a consultant. I would say, oh, hey, ABC Toastmasters. I know somebody who is really strong in membership building. Tim might be able to give you some information. Can you come join your club? And ABC Toastmasters would say, yeah, absolutely. We meet at Tuesdays at noon, something like that. Once Tim joins that club for a meeting or maybe two, together with the officer team or with the club itself, depending on the club environment, they would make a plan. So a club would say, I think we really need to work on a good PR campaign for our club, which Tim is great at, right? Yes, he's very great. He's great at that, and he's going to help with the PR part of that club. What you would do is you would share, work it together, decide who is and there will be forms that a consultant can use to help you through this. There's also really good, I'm sure the DTM project as well as the HPL have some action plans that you can work with too. You would share that plan with the club consultant lead, which is myself, and so we're aware, the district is aware of what's going on, what great things are happening in the district. After that, you would work with the club, provide support as they carry out the plan. We are asking that you visit that club at least twice a month. That's just to keep in touch with what's going on, how things are working. Are things working? Do you need to tweak the plan a little bit? And then, right here, and then really, oops, there's a mistake on my slide. But the important thing then is if you are doing this for a high performance leader project, you might consider also building, or even if you aren't, to build a support team for yourself. If you know someone who's fantastic at Canva, which is a PR slide making, poster making, a whole bunch of good a website for that. And if you were doing a program on PR, you might have someone from your team come and show you that type of information. So the more people you can get involved, the better for everyone involved, including yourself. So if anyone is interested in getting started, I do want to make sure that you are aware of our club consulting incentive that's coming up right now. If you sign up to be a club consultant and start your action plan by October 31st, then you're working with your plan, with your club members, you're meeting with the club, you're checking in with the club consultant lead regularly. There's another mistake. You can earn free admission for yourself to an upcoming TLI. If your plan isn't completely finished, but we know that you are completely in the process of doing it, that is good as well. That is good if you sign up by October 31st, and this is going to be publicized on D4TM as well. And yes, if you know of clubs that are that might be interested, or if you are one of those clubs, or if you're thinking, hey, I know somebody who's really strong at X, Y, or Z, Kalidas or myself would be the great people to reach out to. Our information is right there on the screen. The easiest one to remember is growth@d4tm.org. That's a standard email. Mine is longer, but Kalidas will be able to get me your contact as well. If there aren't any more questions at this time, we are going to pull up the chair for our next presenter.
Thank you, Kat. Everybody, oops.
Oh my gosh.
Bear with me for just a second here. Not a problem. It's technology, I work on it, so I think we're fine. I'm going to stop sharing our screen for just a second here and switch over to our new window.
And hopefully everyone can still hear us.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Can somebody type in the chat, please, and just make sure that they can see the, I just want to make sure you can see the screen. Okay. Hang on just a second. I got this. Now, there's the issue. Okay. Applying the change right now. How about now? Great. I guess that means that yay and great are all good things. Well, thank you, everybody. My name is Tim Carlisle, as previously mentioned, and I'm here to talk about being a club coach. Now, I think that there are different reasons that people do different things, and here's my agenda. Tell 101, I stole this graphic from them. Hopefully they don't mind too much. What I want to talk about is the 5 W's of coaching, strategic coaching, challenges and opportunities, and what's in it for me, and why I believe coaching is so rewarding. So, I am one of those people that want to experience everything that Toastmasters has to offer. And for me, what that happens to be is simply club coaching is part of it. I've already been a club mentor, and I wanted to experience this. 1 second here, folks. I've got a bit of a technical issue. Let me sort that out right now. There we go. I should have made the screen slightly bigger for all of you. Okay, so when you're, 1 second. So when we're talking about club coaching, who? Why, of course, that's you. That's why you're here, and anyone seeking what I believe is a really rewarding experience either on the road to DTM or just to experience something that Toastmasters has to offer. What is coaching? Well, this is where you're working with clubs that have less than 12 members, and the goal being to achieve distinguished club status in one Toastmaster year. Why be a coach? For me, it's simply the challenge. You know, not everyone who coaches a club is able to complete the Distinguished Club program in 1 year. To me, more than that is that when you coach a club, you're growing and developing skills in a very different way than you do when you're a member or when you're a mentor. And you're also building long-term relationships with that club. If you help a club succeed that was in the process of struggling, you're going to make lifelong friends there. How does coaching help? Well, not only do you develop skills, you're helping other people develop those skills. And really, you're kind of helping a club define what they're about, and then how they can move forward in what they're trying to accomplish. Where to coach? Why, that would be up to you and Kalidas, our club growth director. You know, many times, though, it's relationships. One of the clubs I coach, I happen to have a strong bond with one of the club members. I met him during consulting, but we have various backgrounds that are really interesting together. He was a naval officer, I was a Navy guy, and, you know, strangely enough, you know, when he started talking to me about his club, that's how I ended up getting involved. I wasn't sure that our esteemed club growth director would let me coach 2 clubs, but he went for it, so I guess I'm going to survive that. When to coach? Now, period. You know, we have a number of clubs that would like to have a coach. We can use some more. And, you know, one of the things for me that I find really interesting about coaching is it calls on you to use skills that you may have used in other ways here. You know, it's really easy if you're telling someone something to do, but it's not so easy to facilitate them, and help them see what you see. Now, I did put in a few rules here. You cannot be a member of the club when you're until you're officially assigned as the coach by Toastmasters International. It is possible to join that club after the assignment is completed. That is not a requirement. It's a choice if you choose to do so. You also act more as a facilitator. So really, it's kind of like being an area director. You can't make anybody do anything. You can only encourage them to do things that will benefit them. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't work so much. But, you know, it's finding a way to convey the urgency of those things that's really helpful. So I do this from kind of a business perspective. One thing I learned when I was in college, and I did a good bit of that, is something called a SWOT analysis. If you have questions, you can look it up on Google. What it stands for is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when I went to a club meeting, I kind of just looked at this stuff myself. I didn't really tell anybody I was doing it or anything. And then before we had the initial meeting, and in some cases I did different things, you know, I talked to the club officers. And, you know, every club is different. That's one of the things I've learned because I use different skills at coaching one club than I do at the other club. And, you know, but it's okay. And different things work with different people. You know, one of the clubs I coach is named Pacific Rim. Things that I would use to talk to people in that club, mostly who are from Pacific Rim countries, might not work with a different club and vice versa. Sometimes you also have what sounds like good ideas may or may not work. And, you know, sometimes you have to allow people to try things. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then maybe you can guide them a little further. Maybe we should change our perspective and do something slightly different. Doesn't mean it will always work in your case either, but you're usually coming from some sort of an experiential-based perspective. Then you could talk about some of these things at your first official club meeting. You could discuss it in depth, at least in kind of, especially in the strengths and weaknesses area, because I don't care what club you go to, there is always something that a club does well. And there's always something that a club can improve upon. You know, and then I think a mission statement and vision statement and action plan is really what's important for you to help develop. You know, if you don't have anything you're aiming at, you're never going to get there. So to me, distinguished club planning is really useful and helpful. It's, you know, sometimes folks do it, sometimes they don't, sometimes it's a timing issue. But even if you don't get it submitted in time for district credit, you still need to do it because you have to have a target to aim at. Challenges and opportunities. Becoming more diplomatic. I sometimes struggle with being diplomatic. I try very hard to help people. And another thing that I really feel like I've grown in is being able to have those difficult conversations. You know, when you talk with folks, you have to kind of meet them where they are. They may not see their club going to be 30 people or 20 people when they have 5 or 6. That doesn't mean they won't grow to get there, but you have to kind of help them along the way and find a way to meet their need. You know, I know in my work life, one of the things that my boss used to tell me was that he knew he could drop me into a situation and I would figure out a way to sort out what needed to be done and come back to him with a plan. You know, it's easy to come back with a plan, but you also have to sell that plan that everybody is willing to participate in. You also learn to develop empathy and coping skills. You develop empathy by working with people and understanding their point of view. I believe coping skills are developed when you have to cope with things that, you know, are sometimes difficult discussions and being on the receiving end of some of those difficult discussions. What's in it for me? Is coaching rewarding? Absolutely. You know, Andy Jimenez is a distinguished Toastmaster that I have a great deal of respect for. He told me being a club coach is probably one of the best things he had ever done, and that he just, you know, the relationship and the skills that he learned from that were just fabulous. And I listen to people like that have done this and told me, when they tell me that's one of the most important things they've done, I want to pay attention. Is coaching challenging? Sure. You know, and, you know, I'd love to tell you that there's one size that fits all. There's not. Let me give you an example. One club I coach has a meetup account, their own. And we've used that, and one thing that I saw is that it did bring people in, and that's really awesome. We also have a district meetup account. So the other club I'm coaching has a wonderful downtown location, and they got a couple people there. So I worked with the PR manager for District 4 as well as the vice president of PR, and we got something up there on the meetup site. And I know this will be a real shocker. Yesterday, we had 3 guests who all found the club from the meetup site. So that tells me that that's something that does work. Do I believe that coaching is worth the effort? Yes. You know, right or wrong, and I don't want to say win or lose, but, you know, right or wrong, or if you're successful or not, I guarantee you that one thing you will do is grow from the effort. Now, we all want to succeed, and I think that's possible. That's one of the reasons we have a chair for club coaches named Mayor Repetto. Now, Mayor is a very good club coach. She brought a corporate club back from basically almost nothing to over 40 members. And you got to have tremendous respect and chops for somebody who can do that. I know she has been very helpful in advising me on a couple of things, and you know, that's why we have a chair of these programs, because we have someone that you can talk to that's been there, done that, and has the t-shirt when dealing with different issues. Yeah. I know, yes, Kalidas, I know Mayor did that with 2 different clubs. I was just pointing out the one. No worries. And that's truly a sign of somebody who's really good at being a club coach. I cannot tell you, being a club coach is not always easy, but I do believe it is truly worth it. I'll just leave that alone. So, the next steps, I must have missed a slide here. Let's see if I can go back here. 1 second. Next steps would be contact Kalidas, growth at d4tm.org if you're interested in coaching. I seem to have failed to get Mayor's Gmail account. I didn't want to send this all to Genentech. But I'm sure that if you contact Kalidas, you can visit some clubs that are on that list. He will assign you a club if you choose to get you're interested and want to try it out. And then what you need to do is get moving. And at this point, I got lots of room for questions, so if you have a question, fire away. Sorry, Liz, I see you had to log off. Well, thank you for being here at our webinar today. Okay, Wendy has a question. What kind of prior experiences and skills should coaches have? You know, that's a really good question. I'd love to tell you that you have different experiences throughout your life. And, I think one of the reasons that, I really have tried to work hard and take, and move forward in Toastmasters at home is while my Toastmasters experience may not be completely the most important thing, life experience helps. Working with people that you need to figure out ways to help them succeed. Any kind of, counseling, consulting, work, anything that you've learned in your work life, your home life. If you have children, sometimes that's something that's useful. So there are many different skill sets. There's no one-size-fits-all here. What I would suggest to you, it's helpful if you have a high degree of confidence in what you're saying and you don't really have a big ego necessarily, because the most important thing here is that the club succeeds. I know in different roles that I've held, the only way I could get a board of directors to do things was to make them think it was their idea and not my own. And so I took and put my ego on a shelf and helped them figure out a way for it to be their idea, and then we went off and did whatever needed to be happen, and it worked pretty well. So it doesn't matter what the idea is or really who it comes from, but some people, they want to feel that their thoughts are validated, and sometimes it's not huge things that a coach has to kind of talk about. Sometimes it's just a few little tweaks here and there, and they're off and running. Thank you for that question, Wendy. That was great. Anybody else? Don't all ask questions at once. Wendy says, if you start coaching a club in the middle of a Toastmasters year, is the commitment then longer than 1 year, the remainder of the year plus the next year? That's a really interesting question, Wendy. I think it depends. I think that, ideally what you're doing is you're going to be assigned as a coach for a Toastmasters year. In both cases, I was visiting or talking to clubs prior to the beginning of that year. But I did, I'm signed up with 2 clubs for this year. One moment, please. Hang on.
I forgot you could do that.
Kalidas? Kalidas, go ahead.
Wendy, I just wanted to add to what Tim said. For a club coach is to convert, as Tim said, a club from wherever they are into a distinguished club by the end of the year. Right? Now, this means that let's say hypothetically, let's say you get assigned to a club now, you have till the end of June, because that is when the TMI year ends, and that is when TI takes a stock of which clubs achieved DCP, was there a club coach assigned to them, and then give them the credit. If you don't get the club turned into a distinguished club by June 30th, you have 1 more year, which starts on 1st of July and goes on for the next year, right? Can you still hear me, Tim?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
hear
sense. Thanks.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to mute, Kalidas. I've got some other questions to answer here. One moment.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like all the questions were Kalidas sending you a message. We're good to go. Sorry about that. Any other questions that anyone has? I'll give people a little bit of time. I assume you're all typing fast and furiously to get your questions in front of my esteemed colleagues. All right. So I'll still take your questions, but I'm going to go ahead and shift off. There's a few things that we would like to add towards the end of the webinar. If you have questions, feel free to type them. I'll still answer them. These are some reminders of upcoming events and due dates. This is a new incentive that has to do with being a Pathways Explorer. And if you have 75% of your base membership in progress towards a Pathways path by March 1st, you'll get $50 in district credit. Bonus, if you get the Explorers Award and submit 4 Pathways Level 1 awards by March 1, you'll earn an additional $25 in district credit. And to qualify, you basically have to take a screenshot of your base camp manager. Then we have some Club Success Awards, which I'm not going to read to you. Although I do think that one of the things that is really good is that Early Achievers Award is a real good one to get, because that really shows that your club is on it. Finally, we have some upcoming webinars. There's a Pathways Adoption Tips, the previously mentioned Maripetto Rebuilding Corporate Clubs, and then we also have a Club Sponsors and Club Mentors webinars. Those are all in the month of October.
Only the sponsor ones at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, the Club Sponsors and Club Mentors, I'm pretty sure that's at 6:30 p.m., not 6:30 a.m. But for you early risers, hey, if nobody's there, don't stay on the line. Thank you, Kalidas. You are, in fact, correct. The Toastmasters Leadership Institute is going to tentatively be December 1, and the annual conference, May 18th, 2019, at the fabulous Crown Plaza in Foster City. This is the last slide that we have, and this is another plug for how to rebuild corporate club.
October.
Yep, it's in October, only a couple of short weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen any further questions. What I would like to do from everybody here, both Katherine, myself, and Kalidas, we'd like to thank you all for attending. We hope that you gained some value out of our presentations tonight. We certainly enjoyed doing them, and thank you very much for your time.
Yep, and I want to say, as long as you're looking out for people in your clubs and your areas and all around you, people who want to help mentor others, send their interest our way. growth@d4tm.org.
Thank you very much, and
Thank
we're
you.
going to end the meeting now. Good night, everybody.